the IPKF episode. Two of your union ministers, Mr. Hardip Singh Puri and Foreign Minister Jaishankar, were diplomats in Sri Lanka at that point of time, and they would remember the situation then very well. Having said that, about 1 year ago, uh, I think it was Mr. Ajit Duwal and Mr. Jaishankar who organized this trip. They invited Mr. Dissanayake, who was not then the president, to India, and it was a very successful tour for him. And I think that's where everything turned for him as well, and actually opened the path for him to be the president. So, in terms of what has been agreed now, these are not new. We've always been close to India. India is our closest neighbor, and we believe that the umbilical cord that is a virtual umbilical cord that is there is not going to be cut anytime soon or ever in that sense. As far as the MOUs that have been signed, one of the most important one would be, in my opinion, the MOU on energy. India has been working with Sri Lanka to have a undersea or probably a overhead cable, high what we call HDVC cable, running from India to the northern part of Sri Lanka, where the original idea was that Sri Lanka would be supplying excess energy from Sri Lanka to India. But given how things have progressed here, I think it would be more Indian energy or Indian power coming to Sri Lanka. Now, there's a little bit of
Come
issue
to
with
that, Mr.
Adani
Kolatunga,
at the
because
moment.
we need to understand the role of this new, liquefied natural gas and, an energy grid that's going to come into connection as well for Sri Lanka's energy sector that has taken a recent, massive hit, given the economic crisis and the meltdown that we saw about 2 years ago. How is this going to impact Sri Lanka's energy sector, the LNG MOU?
There is some doubts as to how it is going to work out because it's something that it's a long-term plan, and I hope it will work out. But at the same time, they have also opened another negotiation with China as well on this one. So we have to wait and see how far and how soon this is going to be implemented. So it appears that Petronet is going to supply LNG in containers, and from there it comes from India in containers to a depot in Colombo port, and then from there it will be supplied to what we call the multi-phase thermal generating turbines that we have. That's about 600 megawatts at the moment, but I've seen papers which says that it might go up to about 1,200 megawatts in the next couple of years. But there is some opposition to that in Sri Lanka simply because of the cost that is there. The opposition says that renewable energy, which we have in abundance, wind and solar should be given priority rather than thermal LNG. But again, the other side of the coin is that we also need something called base load. And for base load, LNG seems to be the best option that we have. So it is something that has been in the cards for a while. This particular Petronet deal was signed about 2 years ago, and it was even before that where the talks were held. So hopefully it will be implemented now, and it will be implemented soon. So on the other hand, we have an issue with, as you know, with Adani having a wind farm in one of our environmental sensitive areas. If that is also resolved, I think we can look forward for a much more clearer future in terms of the energy roadmap of Sri Lanka.
No, you're absolutely right. Mr. Kolatunga, do stay on with us. Let's quickly listen in to leaders of both the countries, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Dissanayake, as they gave that joint press conference as well.
मैं राष्ट्रपति दिसानायक का भारत में हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं। हमें खुशी है कि राष्ट्रपति के रूप में अपनी पहली विदेश यात्रा के लिए आपने भारत चुना है। आज की इस यात्रा से हमारे संबंधों में नई गति और ऊर्जा का सृजन हो रहा है। हमने अपनी पार्टनरशिप के लिए एक फ्यूचरिस्टिक विजन अपनाया है। हमने अपनी आर्थिक साझेदारी में इन्वेस्टमेंट लेड ग्रोथ और कनेक्टिविटी पर बल दिया है और निर्णय लिया है कि फिजिकल, डिजिटल और एनर्जी कनेक्टिविटी हमारी भागीदारी के अहम स्तंभ होंगे.
After becoming the president of Sri Lanka, this is my first foreign visit. And I'm so happy that I was able to come to Delhi on my first state visit. I want to thank India for the invitation extended to me, and also for the warm hospitality that was extended to the whole delegation, including myself. I want to thank Honorable Prime Minister Modi and President Murmu for that support and hospitality. This visit paved the way for the cooperation between the two countries to be developed further.
Mr. Kolothanga, you heard both the leaders over there. I'm going to prompt one final question to you because there's another neighbor that we need to talk about. That's Bangladesh, and I've got Ambassador Veena Sikri who's waiting for us very patiently on the other side as well. But before we wrap this segment up, you mentioned China as well. Now, I'm reading about defense collaboration, natural gas important for both these countries, 200 students in terms of scholarships, 1,500 people getting formal civil servant, training. The energy and the trade sector is something that you've already touched upon. But amidst all of this, and even as people are calling this a milestone, there needs to be a balancing act that Dissanayake will have to carry out between the elephant and the dragon. How difficult do you think that task is going to be for the Lankan leader?
I would say it's not a hard task. We've been doing this fairly wisely for the last couple of years. China has also been a long-term friend of ours. And the way we manage them is through our non-aligned policy for many, many years. Unfortunately, China has been a little bit aggressive in the last couple of years in the Indian Ocean. And I believe, however, with the Colombo Security Conclave, some of these questions are already been answered, and China and India are both members of the enclave. And in those talks, most of the how should I say, the ripple effects of what China has done in the recent past are being smoothened out. So I hope that will continue. And we will continue to have strong links with China as well. And I believe China is also investing fairly heavily on the energy sector as we go forward. That is one of our main infrastructure investments that we need. So both India and China are heavily involved in that. I must touch a little bit on ECT, the ECTAP agreement. If we sign that and if we get that going, that will be a huge boost for Sri Lanka. And I hope that will be done very soon.